Welcome to the Rocky Road Podcast, brought to you by Rockbusters, with your host, Dennis Wager. Dennis is a best-selling author and an expert in demolition, rock, and concrete breaking, as well as a professional blaster. He is also president of Rockbusters Incorporated, along with his son, Brian. On the podcast, you'll hear exciting stories of how these challenge types of rock and concrete jobs are done. You'll learn about the uses of expanding grout and explosive devices. But furthermore, you'll hear about some of the hurdles and struggles entrepreneurs and business owners have had along the way, how they got started, and how they broke through the obstacles and found the path to success. Along with that, some insight for young people and people wanting to get into the industry. So listen in. I hope you enjoy the show. Now, here's Dennis Wager.
Hi there, everybody. I'd like to welcome Mark Acheson to the show. Welcome, Mark. It's good to have you join us.
Thank you, Dennis. Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks. You might know Mark from movies such as The Elf, The Watchmen, and Stargate. He's a well-known actor. Been an actor basically your whole life, right?
Pretty well, yeah. Yeah, my whole entire life, 45 years now.
Yeah, what made you decide to get into acting? What was your driving force there?
It was the fastest way to become popular, not to have to go to the back field at school and get into fights with people. So I started to ham it up in class, and then I went to drama classes, and I realized that when you're funny or when you're interesting, that it's a great icebreaker and a fast way to make friends. So that's why I sort of started.
Cool. So how did you go about it? How did you start getting into acting?
Well, like I said, I started doing plays when I was in high school and stuff, and junior high. And then as soon as I got out of school, I went to theater school and traveled from the Yukon down to Vancouver and attended theater school there and graduated. And then we formed our own theater company as soon as we got out of theater school. And we put on about 8 or 9 different productions because back then there was very little film and TV. It was all stage. And so that was my main focus, was a stage actor. And for
Okay.
10 years, that's what I did. I worked for the Arts Club, the Playhouse, the New Place Center, Carousel Theater, Green Thumb Players, just about every theater company in the Lower Mainland I worked for. And I performed on just about every stage, from Victoria all the way to Calgary and Edmonton. And that's how I lived for the first 10 years of my career until film and TV found me.
Cool. It sounds like a lot of traveling involved there and a lot of door knocking, getting yourself out there.
Certainly a lot of auditioning. That comes with it, is trying to sell your wares, so to speak. Just like other people sell one thing or another thing, I sell something. That particular product just happens to be me. I sell me.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have audition pieces that you travel around and you perform and you try to get people interested in. And when they buy your services, and then you get to live and perform and exist for a while longer. So that's how I lived.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds exciting. I can relate that into a totally different field. Like I really have not much knowledge about acting or anything like that. But for myself, it's been a lot of, learning what I do, have kind of a curious mind, wanting to know how to improve things. And as far as the rock breaking field and industry and how to make things better. And it's a lot of educating people or showing people different ways and showing myself, just like you, what I can do and what I bring to the table. And, whether they buy it or not is up to them. But you kind of get going down a path, so to speak, right?
Well, I agree very much. I've only known you for not quite a year now, more like 8 or 9 months. but I've gotten to know a bit about what you do and how you've transformed your company into something brand new by
Hmm.
taking what you learned in the past and morphing it into something much more um, um, intricate and precise in that you can take out rocks and boulders and things out of people's lots and their square footage in their basements and create extra living space. And in Vancouver and Whistler and West Vancouver, creating extra square footage is an incredible way to make wealth. And so I'm sure you're doing very well.
Yeah, it's been quite a popular thing. It's another kind of thread to it too. Is a lot of people don't know that that's even an option. Like how you can take rock out of a basement. They're for the most part thinking, "Oh, I'm stuck with that. I can't really do anything about it." But you know, now it's becoming more known, which is helpful. And when people kind of look at the money aspect of it, like the prices of real estate these days, especially once you get into West Vancouver and to Whistler, house prices are so expensive. And then when now you apply, okay, maybe it costs some money to remove the rock, but then I've got all that space that's freed up, and I can build a new suite. I can build a mountain bike storage room. I can build a ski room or a suite to maybe do short term rentals such as Airbnb. Um, you have a lot of these like Airbnb super hosts, which are, top of the notch, super good hosts that are looking for more ways that they can add to their revenue, or people that maybe just have a house that they're not using it full time and they want to create some extra revenue. So it's worked out quite well. Yeah.
Well, it's not only the product, which is extra living space, extra square footage. It's the process in which you do it. Most people, with not knowing exactly what you do, would think that it's all about explosives and things like that. But you have a much more refined chemical way of splitting the rocks, so it doesn't involve high explosives. It doesn't involve a lot of noise and things like that. It's a much more serene, quiet process for getting rid of the boulders and those rocks and things like that out of the house, and so you're not offending the neighbors and the immediate area, and stay copacetic with your environment, and it's all really cool.
Yeah, that's it exactly. So now, like we have the ability with our expanding grout with the Next Pro and the black gold, we can just drill the holes and you pour the grout and it expands and cracks it. But then we can carefully remove it. So more of like a precision, not precision blasting per se, but precision splitting. And now even after we have the rock out for the bulk area, we can now come in. We have hydraulic saws that we can come in and cut the remaining rock flush with the foundation, so you can have it like exactly opened up to the area of your house foundation.
Yeah, this was all new to me when I first met you and you started to describe what you did and how your company worked, because I always had these images of somebody yelling "fire in the hole" and stuff like that, and that's just not the case. You guys do these
Yeah.
precision drillings, and then you pour your stuff and you leave for the night, and you come back the next morning, and everything's split for you, and all you have to do is clean up and carve your way into a completely different new living space. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks. And we do the fire in the hole jobs too. we, do,
Oh yeah,
we do
yeah,
a
I'm
lot of
sure you
the,
do.
which are a lot of fun. But it's just really the right type of method for the right job is all it really is about, right?
Right.
But yeah, so I enjoy that, and it's been great to be able to work with people. But one of the things that I've kind of taken away now too is getting in front of people. Like I have Mike. I don't think you've met him yet, but he's joined us as our videographer. So for me, kind of talking into the camera, I wasn't quite comfortable with that at first. So we did, a few movies. Well, you've seen the clips, and you've actually helped us with some of the voiceover work on them. But now I like it. It's actually quite fun. and I'm able
Ah, I
to
got the
take a.
bug, have you?
Yeah, yeah, I can feel it. It's hard to describe it, but it's almost like, okay, I don't really want to talk in front of the camera initially. To like, okay, that's good. I'm good with that. I can do it. To then seeing like how you come across to other people and how you can control and actually generate yourself to be who you want to be.
Oh man, you definitely have the bug. You're gonna be competition for me very soon. I can see that. You're gonna, I'm gonna start
Yeah.
seeing you come up for roles and things like that. I know that this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Maybe we'll have to call Will and make an elf too.
Yeah, well, they proposed that to him, but he turned them down flat, and they offered him a tremendous amount of money, but he said no.
Really, eh?
Oh
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
How was it making that movie side by side with him?
Well, it was a really big surprise. I didn't audition for the film. I was called up by my agent. They said they want to use you for one line. They want you to just come in and say one line with Will Ferrell. Are you willing to do that? And I said, yeah, Will Ferrell, yeah, for sure. And so I went down, and all I was supposed to say was work release. And so we started. And before I knew it, Will Ferrell and John Favreau, the director, wanted to ad lib and play and do more. And 22 hours later, we spent on the set and, doing the mail cart scene where we're laying in the mail cart together, drunk, and then the
Mm-hmm.
dancing and all that kind of stuff. And all of that was ad libbed. Everything that we did after work release was ad libbed. So it was an amazing experience, and Will Ferrell was like a genius. So was John Favreau, but the two of the guys just wanted to play and have fun, so that's what it was.
Yeah, that's awesome. It must make it a much more enjoyable, and you can kind of fit in and just kind of do your thing and be yourself, right?
Well, it doesn't
And the
happen very
results. So
often, let me tell you, Dennis, but I'm sure glad it did on that case because the movie turned out to be a classic. It's played all the time, every Christmas. And so I still get recognized all the time about it. And it changed my career. And so for
nice.
a one-liner, it became this much bigger thing. And all I can think is somebody up there likes me. That's all I can think.
Yeah, you got to really appreciate all that stuff that happens in life like that, right? And I think you just said it. It's like you never know. You just have to be ready to go. And when something happens, opportunity presents itself, you got to grab it and just run with it and make the most
That's
out of
it.
it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you never know what's going
Yeah.
to turn out to be big or not. You have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. And you never know the downs in life too. You have to just kind of be with those as well and kind of, muscle through them and learn what it takes to break those barriers, blow those walls down and power through and then get up again, right?
Well, I every time I get a job and I'm finished it, I always believe in my heart that it's the last job I'm ever going to get. Because that's sort of how it goes. And lucky for me, they keep coming. But I've never taken the work for granted, and I know that you had interesting obstacles and challenges along the way, certain financial ones that hit you a few years ago, and you bounced back and you came back even stronger with your company and the new methods you're using and the new approach you have towards what you do. So it's very similar.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is exactly. And the industry doesn't really matter. I mean, once you get into like, life itself and personal things that, everybody's the same, right? And, I had issues with going through divorce many years ago that kind of knocked me down. And then I built back up from that. And then I had a bad car accident. I ended up with a brain injury. So that knocked me out for a few years. And then it was really, really tough to rebuild back from that. And then recently last year, I had another kind of major thing. But I think my strength and what I'm really grateful for is that I seem to have an ability to just kind of build things from nothing. Like it doesn't matter what you start with, there's always opportunities. And I really take away a lot from Steve Jobs' principle of creativity. I think his principle says something along the lines of creativity is just connecting the dots. And you can take
That's
each dot and drill down and learn about it. Well, just like me doing, I don't even want to call myself acting in front of the camera because I wouldn't call it that yet, but maybe one day. But just
it's
those
certainly
little things.
performing in front of the camera. Dennis.
Performing, yeah, we'll go with
You
that.
are
We'll go with
performing in front of the camera.
that. Yeah, now I agree. I can actually take it on as that performing. Before it's just kind of like, oh, there's a camera on me. Like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, right? But now it's like you just said it. You can actually perform and you can get the word across. But yeah, that you can take each of the dots and drill down and learn about it, and then it's really how you connect them from one to the next that you kind of propel yourself forwards, right?
Yeah, especially if you believe in what you're talking about, if you believe in what you're trying to sell. I try to believe in myself. You certainly try to believe in your company and the new methods and the new processes that you use to help people realize more wealth in their homes. So it's very true.
Yeah, and then I always relate back to that too. Like when I get a call, it's a lot. I mean, we do a real diverse range of projects, like from underwater. We did one in the Fraser River that was 120 feet underwater, breaking concrete that they had overpoured for the Acheson Island wastewater treatment plant project. And they were there for 2 months with a team of 20 divers, and they got zero concrete out. And then they called me up and said, "Hey, we saw your stuff, these hydraulic splitters, and we have this concrete. It's underwater. And do you think it would work? You can help us." And I'm like, I don't know. I think so. We could try it. So we did. So we went there. We had a guy on the barge. We trained their divers. They had a big 300-ton crane that they lowered down the splitter. Uh, the divers went down to the bottom. They ran it, and we successfully broke out all the concrete, and it took us about 3 weeks. So
That,
it's
that's
kind of,
uh, that's really cool. I've done a few pictures where we had to shoot on the water, and the rule of thumb there is that it costs 3 to 5 times more per day to do anything on water than it would take on land. And so I'm assuming that it's even more for something as specialized as what you do, where it's not only the cost, but the danger and the skill set needed and all of that is really important. So being able to achieve that and do it well is quite a feather in your cap.
yeah. And a lot of it isn't even the money. And you're right. The money factor, once you get into situations like that, is very high. Um, but really, it's like the Fraser River is a shipping lane. With them overpouring the concrete, it was only overpoured by 14 inches, but being a shipping lane, they were not allowed to leave it like that. They had to get it out.
Right.
And you have, like a huge team of engineers and project managers and superintendents, and they just have exhausted every aspect, every way they could possibly think of to do it. And we were, I think, just like a last ditch effort, like, oh, let's try these guys and see what they can do. And you just go in really unknowing, but willing to give it a try, right? And yeah, so we were able to get it done, and it just kind of expands your knowledge of what you can do, and just little things like we had to come up with. Look, okay, we're running hydraulic equipment 100 feet, 120 feet underwater. What if a hydraulic hose breaks? You're not going to contaminate the whole river. So we would run environmental hydraulic fluid such as like vegetable oil and stuff in place of regular hydraulic fluid. So all those kind of precautions had to be put in place, which takes a little longer. It costs a little bit more money. But at the end of the day, the real thing is that they were stuck. They had a problem. And, I was able to help them.
And now, when a similar situation comes up, you won't be the last person that they call. You'll probably be the first person that they call.
Yeah. Or the only person that they call.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. 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 So you were mentioning too that you have a new movie coming out, a new Disney movie.
Yeah, I did 4 months last year on a picture called Peter Pan and Wendy. It's a live action movie starring Jude Law, who plays Captain Hook. So I worked with Jude Law a fair bit, and I I have sort of a comedic role in the movie. Um, I don't know if they were typecasting or whatever, but if there's all sorts of craziness going on, I'm either drinking, getting drunk, or I'm eating all the way through this movie. It's going to be released by Disney in a month or 6 weeks from now, theatrical and then live stream on Disney Plus. Please watch for that, and I think it should look pretty good.
Yeah, that's really cool. That'll be exciting to have that come out.
Yeah, I haven't played a pirate before. This will be my first pirate, so I had a good time doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a pirate would be a fun role for sure.
Arr.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So, what about the future? What do you have on your horizon? Any big goals or plans coming up?
Well, I'm semi-retired now, Dennis. I do conventions. I go to conventions for past work that I've done. I just did one this last weekend in Richmond for My Little Pony. I played the main bad guy, the main villain on that series for about 8 seasons. And so I was invited to come, and we sign autographs, we take pictures with the fans, we do a mock rehearsal and performance of a script. We do question and answer things, and we generally just interact with all of the fans, which the fans of My Little Pony are like really incredible. So that was a lot of fun. I've got another convention coming up in Nebraska in a couple of months for horror movies, because I did a lot of horror
Hmm.
movies in my day.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I know.
well, you can tell by the face, right? I mean, I'm one of the few guys they hire, and I go to the makeup chair, and they go, "Oh, no, no, you're good, you're
You're
fine, you don't need anything, you're scary enough just the way you are, you're just perfect."
yeah,
Anyway. So I'm going to be doing that for a few days, and that's about it. I've got personal projects that I like to do if I get a chance. I don't really chase after the work much anymore. But when you and I first met and we started talking after the book Pursuit 365, um, I was very curious and interested in your company, and I like the thought of trying a demo of doing voiceover and narration about your company, and so that was fun to do. And
Mhm.
that's the kind of stuff that I look for, is something outside the box that I can pursue on my own time, and I feel it's a friendly environment, and I'm wanted, and I don't have to compete, that sort of thing, because I'm getting pretty old. I'm 65 now, and so I just like to take it easy now.
Yeah, I'm having fun with that same thing too, and yeah, I definitely want to do more of the videos and the voiceovers, and then as we talked about too, I still have the pilot project for the movie that we want to do too. So once we get a bit going more, get some more jobs and get a bit bigger, we'll have enough locations or work going on different jobs that we'll have the ability to provide the footage that we need for shooting.
Right, but as we can see, with every passing month, you're becoming more and more adept in front of a camera, and so your need for other people is lessening all the time because you're getting the real, itch for performing, and you're doing it really well. So I won't be surprised if I see you in lots of things in a while.
Well, I hope so. Feel free to throw in any tips and advice. They're much appreciated.
Okay.
Speaking of
Yeah,
that, have
well,
you got
my
any
advice would be,
advice you would give people
let me
wanting to get
narrate
into
every
the?
once in a while. That'd be about it. But so that would be the only thing that I would you know let me do some of that low emotional sort of dramatic stuff to give it poignancy, and then you can do the cool sort of process scientific stuff and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, that totally works. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, you and I can work as a great team.
Yeah, I think so. Do you have any advice for young people wanting to get into acting, or old
Well,
people, or middle people?
I never give advice about people getting into acting because I think it's first of all, there's a ton of people out there that think that they can do it, and they probably can. But it's got to be something that you love to do. I mean, that you just can't fathom doing anything else. And then, if that really is something that you have to do, that you need to do, then for sure do it because the one thing that I can attest to is if you spend your life working at something that you love doing, then you're not really working at all. You're just having a great life, and that's sort of how it turned out for me. But you have to go through a lot of rejection. You have to go through a lot of quiet time, and you have to be very confident in yourself all the time to be able to survive.
Yeah, that's good advice. I know one of the things I took away from even co-authoring the Pursuit 365 book was reading everybody else's stories. Like there's so many. Well, obviously, you and I and 363 others, right?
Yeah.
Like Nira Aurora, Tommy Chong, Mike Reno, everybody's stories. And what I've, even over the holiday, you pick up the book and you read a few chapters. And it's like Nira Aurora stood out to me because like she seems like she just has it all. She's so well spoken. You listen to her on the radio, and then when you read her story about how she didn't feel in the past that she was really heard or had her own true voice, and now she's kind of grown into that and taken that on. Not to speak for her, but kind of what I read out of her chapter in the book was very, very cool. And those are the kind of things that you take away, and it just kind of gives you power and empowers you to do more things, I think.
That was the big piece of information that came from that whole book is that everybody has a really cool story. Everybody does. And you learn so much from when you hear other people's stories. So, yeah.
Yeah, you do. And you never know who's got what story, right? Like some people have like horrendous life altering stories and then they break through, and other people not so much. And they have different issues or different stories, But you're right. It's so cool to kind of just read about it and see, how people get to where they are and what they're doing with what they want to move forwards with.
You never know when that one-liner turns into be a classic piece of film.
Yeah, the 22-hour one-liner, right?
That's right.
Just needs some more of that.
Yeah, I could use a couple more.
Some more juice.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for getting to know me and for inviting me into your world and letting me get involved and continuing to talk with me. It's been a blast.
No, I appreciate it too. Yeah.
It's nice making
We'll
a friend.
do it more for sure. Yeah, I feel the same too. Yeah, it's been fun, and look forward to doing more stuff together and
thank you, sir.
See what comes up, what we can do.
Okay, and go break some rocks, man. Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you would like to be a guest on a future episode and tell us your story, visit our website at www.rockbusters.com. If you have a project and would like to learn more about our products, or If you're interested in partnering with us and becoming a distributor, give us a call. Thanks again. We appreciate your support.